In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Confianza Tequila right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at another tequila out of NOM 1414. That's Vivanco and Associates, and it is Confianza Tequila, or Tequila Confianza. It's a fairly new tequila to hit the market. It's actually been out for a little while, but it was just recently picked up by a new distributor who is really pushing it and marketing it, and so you're going to see it a lot more out on the shelves, hopefully. It is, as you know, comes from Vivanco and Associates, which is the same distillery that makes Viva Mexico. They make Grande Vejo. They make what's Los Dos, which I just recently reviewed. So they make some really good tequilas out of there. So I'm interested to try this one and tell you guys about it and see what we think. We do carry it on ferment and still, so if it's something that you are interested in, you can pick it up from there. And I'll give her the pricing and stuff. I think I don't have the pricing down. I can check out the pricing for you. It's not a problem. All right, so how did they make this tequila? Let's talk a little bit about how this tequila is made. It's made pretty much the same way as Viva Mexico, in that they use estate grown agave, and then they cook them for 24 hours. They let them rest for 24 hours to cool down. And then they use a roller mill to extract the sugars from the agave fibers. And they have this really interesting roller mill. And I'm going to put together the tour video and release that this week, so you guys can kind of see this interesting roller mill contraption that they made at the distillery that makes it kind of interesting. It gives them a higher extraction rate, a higher yield when they're doing their extractions using it. So it's really cool though. We really got a kick out of seeing it and getting it explained to us by Sergio Cruz, the master distiller. So it is made by Sergio Cruz, is the master distiller out of Vivanco and Associates. It is crushed using a roller mill, and then after that, the mosto is then fermented in stainless steel tanks. And for this one, instead of using straight champagne yeast like they did for Viva Mexico, they used a blend of champagne yeast and wild yeast for it. And of course, they play classical music for the yeast while they're fermenting, and it is loud in there. You'll see in the video, I actually have video of the classical music being played and stuff. It's loud, so the yeast have no problem hearing it. It was very loud. And then after it is done with distillation, it is then distilled using copper pot stills, where this one, they completely throw out all the heads and the tails, and they keep just the hearts for this. So it's straight goodness, from what the way it was explained to me. We're going to also review the Reposado after we taste the añejo. And the Repo is actually then they take it and they age it in American white oak whiskey bourbon barrels, and they age it for 6 months before all the best barrels are then blended together to form this particular Reposado. All right, so now you guys have all that information. Let's dive into the tasting and see what this is all about. Now, there we go. I haven't opened it yet, so it's brand new bottle, and looking forward to tasting it. Seeing it's been sitting here for a while. I've had it for a while, and I just been meaning to get to tell you guys about it, and been trying to take care of all the other stuff that came in before it. We still have a lot of reviews we're going to do for you guys too, so make sure you subscribe. Click that subscribe button, and make sure if you like the information I shared and the details I give, to click that like button there to give me a like on the video. All right, so looking at it in the glass, it coats the glass very nicely. You can see the legs and tiers forming. breaking from the glass and dripping down. Look at that. That looks really good. Nice viscous mouthfeel to it. Looking at the tequila itself, it is crystal clear. Little glimpses of silver shining through in it just from the reflections of the light, which I love. It looks beautiful. So let's see what we get on the nose on this. All right, so with this one, it's it definitely has the cinnamon and baking spices coming through from the cooked agave. I mean, that's it's got to be there for anything from 1414. But it also has definitely kind of a tart fruit. I would say like grapefruit kind of nose to it. And then there's a little bit of a cheese essence to it too. I'm picking up some orange blossom and some fruit flavors, like or fruit scents, like orange blossoms, and maybe like even along the lines of like a rock fruit, like a plum. It's really nice nose to it, nice fruitiness, nice sweetness in there, little hint of cheese in there as well. It's interesting. So let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Beautiful sweet cinnamon from the cooked agave, the hint of baking spices like cloves in there, nutmeg, a little hint of actually some fruitiness coming through. This is more like banana that I'm getting. Hint of pineapple, like tropical fruit. A little different than what I was getting on the nose. And it does have a cheese-esque kind of note in there as well. And yeah, kind of a musty cheese note in there as well, which is good. And if you're wondering, well, how do they get a musty cheese note kind of in there? If they let the fermentation go for a longer period of time, it goes into what's called malolactic fermentation. And it's kind of a secondary fermentation that happens where the yeast does the primary fermentation, gets kind of everything taken care of real quick, all the sugars. And then there's a secondary fermentation that goes on where things are cleaned up a little more, but it also produces a little different flavors. A lot of times the producers will try to stop the fermentation. So normally it's about 4 days or so, 4 or 5 days. And that's kind of almost pushing it before the malolactic fermentation starts. Where with this one, the fermentation actually goes up to 9 days. So you get some of the notes from the malolactic fermentation that kick in. And so you definitely are picking up some of that in here. Has a little cheese-esque kind of notes to it. Also picking up some more of the tropical fruit, so tartness and banana-esque kind of notes coming through on it too, which are also symptomatic of going into a malolactic fermentation. So it's very good. I like it. It's very complex. Definitely sippable and enjoyable. How would I rate this? There's a little bit of hint of bitterness in there as well. And I'm picking up an anise, a black licorice kind of bitterness that kind of rides on the top of it. And it kind of fills in a little bit of that cheese-esque. And by cheese, I mean kind of like a blue cheese-esque kind of taste to it is there too. And I think that bitterness kind of rides a little bit into that. A little mustiness from it. It's nice. How would I rate this? I'd give this one, because it's different and because it's got an interesting complexity to it, I definitely would give this one 4 agave. I definitely recommend it. It doesn't hit the level of a 5 agave for me, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I enjoy it. So and I recommend it. I can recommend trying it because it's kind of a different profile for me for a Blanco than what I'm typically used to finding in the Blancos, especially from 1414. So let's take a look at the Repo. Now, the only difference with this one is that it's the Blanco. It's this in a white oak American whiskey barrel, a bourbon barrel for 6 months. Let's see what kind of difference it makes. So looking at it in the glass, coats the glass nicely. You can see the legs and tears coming down just like the Blanco. It looks solid. Looking at it in the glass, it's got a nice light amber color to it. Looks crystal clear. Looks beautiful. Looks delicious. You taste with your eyes, your nose, and your taste buds, right? So far, it looks really good. So on the nose, I'm getting the same kind of notes, but I'm getting more of a vanilla note towards the front, like right along with the cinnamon and the baking spices. And I'm getting more of a cherry-esque kind of fruit note over the top of it as well. A little hint of caramel, some chocolate. It smells really good. It smells really good. Nothing wrong with this at all. So let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Beautiful Reposado. Definitely picking up the cinnamon and baking spices. I'm not getting as much of the malolactic notes from this one. Definitely more of a citrus-esque, tropical fruit-esque kind of fruit notes to it. Then it finishes with cinnamon on the tongue, a little bit of caramel in there with the vanilla on the tongue and the finish. And the finish is not very long. It doesn't really sit with you for a long time. I'd give it kind of a short to medium, like barely like between the two on the finish. It kind of disappears pretty quickly. But the flavors on it are spot on. It's an enjoyable Reposado. So I'd give this one 4 agave too. Nothing wrong with this at all. I think people would enjoy it. It's got the nice barrel presence is there. It's not overtaking the agave at all. It's all there. It's all that you normally look for in a good Reposado is there. So I recommend both of them for agave. We do have them on ferment and still, and you can find them there if you're interested in picking them up. Pricing on it, I can look up real quick. Let's see. All right, so the Blanco is $34.99, which I think is a great price for this Blanco. That's nothing wrong with that at all. And the Reposado is $36.99. So both of them are great prices. So for those prices, I definitely say pick them up. Nothing wrong with those prices at all. It's a bargain, I think, at those prices. Normally, I would expect for a Blanco this good to pay somewhere in the high 40s, low 50s for it. And for the Reposado, I would normally expect to see that like in the low to mid 50s range for a Reposado, the quality of this one. So definitely good deals. So I definitely would recommend picking those up and trying them. All right, so there you go. You got the tasting, you got the information about it. Don't forget to give me a like for the information I shared, and don't forget to subscribe so you guys can catch on to when I come live with these reviews. I will have the tour of 1414 that I'll post up here soon. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And if you want to get in on the conversations and ask questions and talk about the reviews when we're doing them, make sure you click the join button and join our membership program. It's $9.99 a month, you guys. It's like 2 Starbucks coffees a month, and you support the channel, and you get to get some additional information behind the scenes in the community tab of the website, where I give you the YouTube channel, where I give you some behind the scenes information, and you also get priority on some of the special stuff that I can get my hands on for the collective. So it's definitely worth the deal, the money, and everybody that's a member so far, from what I've heard, loves it. So talking about that and the membership, let's take some time and go visit with our members and see what kind of questions and comments they have. Hey, good evening, Todd. Glad you could join us today. Always glad to see you. Hey, JP, hola, I've had this one. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad at all. I actually think it's quite good. So I would rate it higher than not bad. I like it. I enjoy it. I think the flavors are a little different on the Blanco than what I normally find from 1414, but I like that they changed it up and went a little different route with it. It gives you a little something different. Hey, Shaman, so what's the reasoning behind playing classical music during the fermentation stage? Seems to be a number of distilleries that do it. Is it more vibration from the music that makes the yeast happy? Yeah, they can sense the music. And supposedly, you know, when I talked to Sergio Cruz about it, he says you can actually see like the bubbles and stuff become more active when they have the music going, because they can feel the vibration and stuff while they're out doing their work, and it triggers them to be happy. And you know, there's like all kinds of evidence about music and how like even playing it for a baby that's, you know, not born yet, a fetus, while you're pregnant with a child, playing music is good for them. It makes them happy and it calms them down. And so, you know, there's all kinds of things about music, and I'm a huge fan of music. I love music. And so they said that classical music, they find makes the yeast happier, and the yeast do a cleaner job with fermentation and produce a better quality tequila because of it. So I think it's interesting. I love it. And when you're in there, you can hear the classical music playing, and you'll see that when I post the tour video here soon. So do they make it in añejo? Price seems very reasonable. They've put these on my radar for future purchases. They don't have an añejo yet. If they had an añejo, I'd be doing it right now. But they don't have an añejo yet. I don't know if they're going to come out with one. They may. Sometimes they, you know, want to see what happens with the Blanco and the Repo. And since it's only 6 months, you know, and they've been working on this for a while, supposedly. So, but there's no añejo yet, but there may be one. So we'll see. I'll find out from Sergio. I'm sure I could ask him, and he will let me know. I talk to him frequently. So G. Coletti says, I know there's studies for plants benefiting from classical music. Doesn't surprise me. Yeast does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, you know, it's a living organism. People don't understand that, but yeast is a living organism, and it reacts to environmental stimuli just like any other living organism does, plants or animals. Have you ever seen the videos like on YouTube where a guy walks up to a cow pasture or a girl or whatever, and they'll start playing an instrument like a violin, and all of a sudden all the cows will walk over and gather around and listen to them playing music. It's a thing that, you know, I think just really makes living organisms happy, is the sound of music. You know, the hills are alive with the sound of music, right? No, so it does. I can understand how it influences even a yeast, which is a single cell organism, but it's still a living organism. So, hey, Deputy Sandoval, Andy, how are you doing? Glad you can make it, buddy. Hello and welcome. All right, so JP says, why is 1414 making so many different expressions? They're all so good, though. Yeah, you know, they're cranking out a lot of different not expressions, but different brands, and they're, you know, the thing that I really like about 1414 is Sergio Cruz, the master distiller there. He also is a chemistry professor at the university, So he likes to play with things, and I love that. I love master distillers that love to play with things and experiment. And we're actually, when I was there visiting with them, hanging out, and I'm sure those of you that in my group saw the pictures, we had a great time. He's a fantastic person. I love him to death. He's my brother. And we tried an experiment that they did. It was so good that we're buying the whole batch for the collective. So I'm working on getting it. It's going to be the most different Blanco you guys have ever tried. It's out of 1414. So I'm working on getting the whole batch. Hopefully we can make it happen. They told me that we could have it and that it's ours, but I don't, until it's done, you never know. So I'm hoping that we get it solidified and that we get the batch, because it was delicious and it was different. So, but we shall see. All right. Any additional questions? Anything else anybody wants to know about this tequila or the 1414 distillery? I will do the review or the tour video, which I think you guys will get a real kick out of it. Seeing that the contraption that they invented and seeing Sergio and stuff. You guys, if you haven't also as well, I did a happy hour with the Hombre with Sergio and Cesar Vivanco and Sergio Cruz. And you can see that on the channel here. It was a great happy hour with the Hombre. They gave us a lot of information. Cesar has to interpret for Sergio, since Sergio does not speak English very well. So, but it was a great episode. Lots of information, lots of insight into the distillery. It's a great family-owned distillery. They have a lot of passion and tell you a story. It was kind of interesting. If you've ever been to Arandas, across the street from where Vivanco and Associates is, there is a really famous carnitas place called Jaime's Carnitas. And so we went there for dinner, and we had Sergio Vivanco with us and a bunch of other people. And I was sitting next to Sergio, and we're talking to him for a good period of time. And we ordered Viva Mexico from them, and we were tasting it, and he would taste the Viva Mexico, and he goes, "This isn't my tequila." And he said to him, he goes, "Is this Viva Mexico? I ordered Viva Mexico. Is this Viva Mexico?" And they came back and said, "Yeah, it's Viva Mexico." He goes, "No, it's not. This is not my tequila." And they brought the bottle by, and he tried. He goes, "This isn't my tequila." And then so he said, "Bring me the Reposado." They brought him a Reposado. He tried. He goes, "This is my tequila. Bring me the Añejo." And he brought him the Añejo. He goes, "This is my tequila. The Blanco's not my tequila. Either you guys were sold a bottle of tequila that was fake, or somebody is swapping out tequila in that bottle." And he picked it out just from tasting it, which I thought was great. And he called it exactly as it was. And so they ended up trashing that bottle and bringing out a new bottle for him to drink. But the fact that they knew that, and he could tell, I thought that was amazing. It was great. All right. So have they tried other forms of music, like maybe AC/DC? They've tried banda and stuff like that, but they said classical works the best. They've tried other Mexican music, but they found that classical music works the best. I've asked them about that. What other music have you tried? I'm like, even have you tried, I'm trying to blank on it. Mariachi music. Have you even tried mariachi music? And they're like, "Oh yeah," they're like, mariachis are from here, so you'd think they would like it, but no, they like the classical better. So the yeast, responded, to mariachi, but not as well as they did to the classical. So it looks like they like Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and stuff better than mariachis and other music. So yeah, they have tried other music. So that answers that question. All right. Any additional questions, you guys? I'm here to answer them for you. I think I like, if I had to pick between the two, so if they said, well, you pick one, I would probably lean more towards the Reposado on this. But they're both good. But I would favor the Reposado. The Reposado is delicious. I like it. What's that? Had some Siembra, Azul, Los Dos, and Yayo from 1414. All brands have been great. Yeah, everything out of there has been great. The only one I don't like out of there is Honor. That's the only one I don't like. The only one I've tried that I'm like, I won't drink this because it just didn't taste good. And they told me that the lady that owns it had a big influence in what they did to it and how they did it. And so it's not one of my favorites. I wouldn't buy it at all. Everything else out of 1414 I would buy except for Honor. Honor is the only one that I don't like. So I'm just being honest and straightforward with you guys. Stay away from Honor. Even though it's 1414, stay away from it. See, not all the distilleries make everything great. So, because for those type of things, they contract for them and they have to please the client, give them what the client wants. But 1414's been very lucky in that they've had a lot of really good clients that want a natural, good quality tequila flavor profile when they come to them to make the tequila. So, all right, is that it? Any other additional questions from you guys that I can answer while we're here? So don't forget, click the like button. Give me a like for the information I shared. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, so that way you can participate in the Q&As on Monday, and you'll also know when the new reviews and stuff and other tour videos and stuff are released. And if you want to get involved in the conversation and get some behind the scenes information, some stuff I'm going to share on the community tab on the channel just for members, click the join button below, or I'll put a link in the description below after we're done with the video, and you can join. It's $9.99 a month. You help support the channel, and we all share some great information. You get some priority on some very special stuff that we get through the collective, as well as when we get samples from the brands, small samples like the sample bottles here, they go to the members. So click the join button and become a member, join the community. We'd love to have you. All right, well, that is all I've got for you guys today. Thanks for joining us for this review on Confianza, the Blanco and Reposado. It's a good tequila. I recommend it. 4 agaves for each. You can find them on Fermented Still. We have them in stock. And until next time, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So have some nice stuff like Confianza and you'll be happy. Salud. We'll see you guys on Friday. Bye.